Hi everybody, welcome back to the Chasing Psychological Safety video series. This is, for those of you watching in the future, the Christmas week of 2020, which should be a week of celebration and relaxation. And unfortunately, due to the year of the pandemic and the surprises we've had in the last few days, everybody is having a very different experience this week and is having to dig really deep because of that change into their resilience reserves again. So we're here to talk to you about facets that are really important in our world in working with psychological safety, two of the components of psychological safety, and those are resilience and flexibility. So really critical in looking after others is looking after yourself. So the absolute baseline, especially right now, is to be kind to yourself, take the break that you need, have the courage to be kind to yourself, and look after yourself and look after your loved ones and get through this strange time. That in turn will then allow you to have empathy for others. So what we're looking at is to try to get to a place where you have given yourself a break such that you can start to work on that team again. Take this Christmas break for yourself and your family and whatever you need to find those reserves of resilience again in order to put you in a place in the new year where you can start thinking about team and trust and psychological safety and looking into 2021.
Right, and as ever, we're trying to give you as much as we can from the practical standpoint in the videos, no less because our articles on Mondays tend to be a lot more theoretical. So from a actual hands-on perspective, what is it that you could be doing with your team? And we would like to bring today to you 3 different plays that we'd like you to keep your mind on, whether you're using the ones that we are presenting in our software or you're making them on your own. Either way, just try and focus on these 3 things. One of them, and one of the most powerful ones, is something we call in our plays a gratitude check-in, which is exactly what it says on the team. On the team, not on the team. It's essentially this time where you sit down with your team and you kind of take stock of all the good things that have happened to you. And there's always things to find and always things to celebrate and always things to kind of outline the potential dark side you have avoided. And the reason you need to do that is because the practice of gratitude is not just a theoretical thing that they do in California for fun. It's an actual way of reframing the way you're thinking about things that will allow you to then recharge your emotional batteries. It will allow you to be a lot more creative. It will allow you to be open to new possibilities and what's happening from then on. It literally reframes the way you're thinking as an individual and as a team. So being able to do that as a team level, obviously you should have a gratitude practice on your own. It doesn't take you more than 5 minutes a day to kind of go through your head through a quick Thanksgiving list as to kind of why you're happy or alive, and God knows, just being alive, it should be first on our list every day these days. But if you do it as a team together in terms of kind of where it could have been worse because X, Y, and Z, it could have been these things were better because we did X, Y, and Z, all those tiny moments of good things that you can count will allow you to move forward in a much better way. So again, look at our the way we've described the play in our playbook. It's a lot more detailed. It gives you some ideas on how to start this. But either way, just kind of sit down, count your blessings with your team.
Absolutely. So on the note of practical tools, one of the other things that we recommend for every team, whether they are just kicking off or whether they have been together for a while, is to do semi-regular team relaunches. And the beginning of 2021 is going to be not just a great time to do it, but a necessary time to do it. So coming into 2021, you survived. Congratulate yourself and your team on the fact that you got through 2021. We're all still here. The business is still going. But what are we going to do now that we've built some of those resilience reserves over the break to bring the team together and relaunch for 2021? It's things like looking at your purpose, understanding what your collective team actions are, taking all the best bits of the other plays, like the gratitude check-in that Dwayne has been talking about, putting those together in a way that really works for your team. It doesn't have to take hours, 2 to 3 max, but it really refocuses the team, brings everybody together, rebonds and continues to build those bonds of trust that are so fundamental to having a psychologically safe team that can get through the first quarter 2021 and power forward to be high performing in the rest of the year.
Right, and the last one we're going to talk about, we don't have it completely finished. We're still working on it. So this is very hot off the press. We haven't completely formalized it or put it in the software yet. But it is something called the flexibility role play. And we've spoken to you before about this. We measure both flexibility and resilience in our software. And that's because you can be flexible for a while and that would break over time. And because resilience is a lot more than just flexibility in our mind, it's a combination between flexibility and your engagement level over a period of time where you can be sure that you're resilient enough. But when it comes to training flexibility in itself, if you see you're low on that from the data that we're providing you with, then one of the things you could be doing is this thing that we're describing in our new play called the flexibility role plays. And they are essentially occasions in which you sit down your team and together you come up with scenarios in which you understand that things could have went a different way. You literally come up with various different endings to a certain path. And you do that for various moments, for various sprints, for various changes that happened in the enterprise, for various systems that came in, for people coming in or not. What would have happened if we had taken path B or C or D? And the more paths you imagine together, the more likely it is that it reminds you that things are not set to go in a certain direction. They could be going any direction and you can move them together that way. And you have to stay open to all of these potential possibilities coming your way. All of these things are going to just train you for what's coming ahead. We can't promise you it's going to be all roses coming next year, but we obviously were all hopeful that we were not going to go through a year like the last one. With that said, the more of this flexibility and resilience that we can build, the better off we will be. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to us, and we might talk to you once more later this year. Have a lovely Christmas meanwhile.
Happy Christmas. Bye.
Bye.